In this lesson, we will build dynamic and resilient financial formulas in Excel. We will build profit and loss and balance sheet formulas. As you can see, one formula services a full report and is dynamic based on the report key and user input parameters. Building formulas in this way is more performant, reduces memory size, and it's easier to manage and administer. Also, I'll refer to profit and loss as P&L and balance sheet as BS going forward. Let's dive in. The Data tab is where you loaded data from the Power Query lesson. This will be our sandbox for developing our formulas. Scrolling to the right, we'll see materialized tables in an area to showcase formula generation. Both formulas follow a similar pattern. We'll start with the P&L and then use that for the BS. We will build the profit and loss formula with 5 steps, consolidating them in the 6th step. Step 1. Identify the report key. For now, we'll simply enter a number. Step 2. Find the indicator based on the report key. We'll start by typing XLOOKUP and referencing the report key. Next, we'll reference the P&L template and search for the report key and return the expense indicator. Step 3. Return accounts based on report key. We'll use the filter function to return the geo counts based on the filtered P&L column. Step 4. Find the account type based on the account. The account type will dictate the appropriate changes based on debits and credits. We'll use XLOOKUP to reference the account from Step 3, search for corresponding account, and return the appropriate account type from the account table. Step 5. Calculate the amount based on the account and account type. We will use let for variables and for handling arrays. We will define the start and end dates, hard-coding and biting these dates respectively. We will define debits and credits, both filtered by the start and end dates. We will use SUMIFS to sum the debits and credits amount based on the account column. We will then filter by the transaction dates based on the user parameters, and we're going to duplicate the equations as only one parameter changes. Next, we will define our revenue and expense arrays, which will aggregate differently based on the account type. Credits increase with revenue, debits increase with expenses, and lastly, we will add a P&L equation, which will report the signs correctly. The equation says, if the exception indicator is yes, then sum expenses minus revenue, else sum revenue minus expenses. Step 6, consolidate with let. Step 5 did a lot of the heavy lifting. We will copy and paste it for a base. We will now add variables based on the equation from the prior steps. Report key will reference the value in Step 1. Exception indicator will use the same equation in Step 2 and will reference the new report key variable. Account array will use the same equation in Step 3, but will reference the new report key variable. Account type array will use the same equation in Step 4, but will reference the new account array variable. Debits and credits will now reference the new account array variable. Revenue and expense will now reference the new accounts type variable. The P&L will now reference the new exception indicator variable. Lastly, we'll wrap this in if error for error handling. This is important for reporting. We have successfully built our first financial formula. We'll use this formula as the base for the balance sheet formula. So let's copy and paste the P&L formula into the balance sheet box. We're only going to change the needed attributes. Report key will reference the new report key. Exception indicator needs to search the balance sheet report table and return the asset indicator. Accounts array needs to reference the balance sheet bridge table and return the respective variables. Debits and credits need to remove the start date filter. The balance sheet incorporates all historical dates up until a defined point, unlike the profit and loss statement. We will introduce assets, liability, and owner equity arrays. They are similar to the revenue and expense arrays. Assets increase with debits. Liability and owner's equity increase with credits. We will introduce a final balance sheet equation which says if exception indicator is yes, sum assets minus liabilities and owner's equity, else do the inverse. Now it's your turn.